Good morning. It's actually good evening for me, but it does depend on what country you're in. Welcome back to the Build Show. Tech works. Chef, welcome back to the Build Show. Intel for the win. Who is this handsome devil? I think there's a lot of arguments regarding that statement. Owner, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show. The XDXDXD. Yo, welcome to the Build Show. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host here at the Empower Gaming Studio. My name is Ben Estrino. And tonight, we're going to be building a PC. I'm sure a few of you have probably heard me say this before. But it is not just any PC. Tonight, we are building Grant's PC. And Grant, let me tell you guys, has been an extremely patient person. So while I was out on vacation, Grant actually submitted this order. It was towards the beginning of the vacation, and so I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, it's gonna be a while. Might not be I actually was planning to do this build on Tuesday, Tuesday night, but I ran into an issue. The fans for this build were missing, and I thought they were here, and so I went digging and found out they were just in limbo. So I ordered another set of fans. Those fans didn't show up even with next day shipping until today, and then the fans that were missing also showed up today. So these fans, for some reason, which are the reversed TLM12QRs by Thermalright, go missing apparently over here in Michigan, at least. I don't know if it's the same experience for everybody else, but I ordered the same quantity from the same seller, and the same results happened, of course. At Big Boy Grant. At a Big Boy. You're at a Big Boy? Or at a Boy Grant? Oh, at a Boy Grant. I totally read that wrong. It is pretty late. It's been a long day. I've been up since like 7 o'clock, working all day. So, gotta love it. Yeah, it's been quite the adventure just getting the parts here. I hope we are now done with the adventures with Grant's PC and everything is smooth sailing from here on. But I do have to say thank you, Grant, for being so patient with me and also waiting for this build. And I know you're super excited to get it. And all I can do is apologize. And if you did want anything from, I'll make sure I shoot you an email as well. If you did want anything from the swag store or the Empower merch, just let me know, and I'll make sure you get it. So just let me know. Other than that, let's build Grant's PC, shall we? Finally. And I also apologize about the late night stream. Typically, I like to start these earlier, but since we've gotten back from vacation, it's just been absolutely insane, and there's just a lot going on all at once. So typically I would have started this around 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's usually my targeted start time. And 8 p.m., as everybody probably here knows, I start later than that. So anyway, here we go. Without further ado, let's go ahead and run through this. Some giant idiot. The Dinosaur Man's PC. I don't know. Grant, are you the Dinosaur Man? The Destiny is telling you that this build needs extra fans. Yeah, I mean, well, now we have double the fans. Reverse blades, anyway. We have double the reversed blades. I don't know what good that would do with this particular build. We actually can't put any more fans in there than what we have on the table. So, all right, so for Grant's build, we're going to be building with a Ryzen 5 9600X, which has a 6 cores, 12 threads, up to 5.4 gigahertz maximum boost. The Thermalright AM5 contact frame is supposed to be here, and it's not here. That's actually one thing I forgot. There it is. And with the Thermalright contact frame, we're also going to be using the Thermalright Frozen Infinity 240 millimeter AIO, which is in black. So that's our cooler up here, which features, you know, your pretty typical AIO with a wonderful mirror finish with RGB on it, both on the fans, side of the fans, and also on the block itself. So it kind of gives that infinity look. That's where it gets its name. And then of course it performs very nicely, so it'll keep the 9600X nice and cool. The motherboard that we're going to be using was supposed to be a Asus B650M A Prime, but we upgraded to a B650M Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Why did that happen? Well, it's simply just an inventory thing. Sometimes this will happen, but ultimately this board has better coolers, so better heat spreaders, more heat spreaders actually, and I think it has more features on it as well in regards to like M.2 slots. Ultimately, this is a better board in the end, and then we also paired it with a matching Gigabyte graphics card. For the record, I just want the record to know. But thank you, Guy, over on Facebook for the like. Appreciate that. All right, and then after the motherboard, we're going to be installing 32 gigs of DDR5, 6000 CL36. This is going to be G.Skill Flare X. You'll see me use a lot of this RAM. It's because it's solid, stable RAM. The reason why it's in two 16 gig sticks and not a two 16 gig kit, two 16 gigabyte 32 gig kit, is because it was supposed to be a combo from Micro Center. But we ended up, because of the inventory issue from Micro Center, we ended up getting this board instead, but edited the additional stick as well to make it 32. Next was the 2TB Gen 4 NVMe SSD, which is a Team Group MP44. This thing is a super fast Gen 4 SSD. Highly recommend these. They're up to, I think, 7,000 megabits read and 6,500 for the write. So it's a super fast drive. It's pretty close to the Samsung 990 Pro in terms of speed. So next is our graphics card, which we kind of briefly talked about, but it's the Gigabyte AMD Radeon RX 9060 XT 16 gigabyte. So it is the 16 gigabyte version, and this is the Gaming OC version from Gigabyte, which it's a 3-fan WindForce model, so it's got the 3 fans. Gonna look a lot nicer on top of the fact that it's gonna run a lot cooler with 3 fans. So a bigger heatsink on it than your 2-fan model. Next is, I know for some reason the website lists 6 fans, but this build only can fit 5 total, and that is 2 on the side mounted in reverse, and 2 on the bottom in reverse blade, and then a regular 120 in the rear. And these are all 120s. The bottom and the sides are reversed, but these are the TLM 120QRs, or the non-R model, which is TLM 120Q. The R in the model number actually stands for reversed. So we've got 4 reversed fans and 1 regular that we'll be adding, and then we're going to be powering the system with a 650 watt 80 plus gold Sagitep. It says modular, but it's actually not a modular power supply. I don't know why that's listed there. That is an error on the website, so I'll have to fix that. But OS is Windows 11 Pro, and it has, of course, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built into the motherboard. And without further ado, let's build it. WindForce! Yes, instead of regular force, there's the wind force for this card. So, all right. So, with all the issues that we have had previously in the last build, I'm really hoping this build goes nice and smooth. I hope everybody else is also on board with that, because we started pretty late. I don't want to go too late with this one, right? I'm actually just going to leave the cooler off to the side here, just to cover up Steve the Stain. Sorry, Bray. And we'll get started with the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD, and then we'll break the cooler out and get the... Actually, I think this one mounts to the brackets on the board. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it does. Drawing a blank on that one, but regardless, let's get this thing Nobody heard that. Poor Steve. All right. Making me feel bad for Steve. If anybody's wondering, Steve the Stain is the thermal paste stain on the pad that just sits there and hovers over my head. My GTX 670 OC Windforce is still powering my server quality cards. Yeah, they're great cards. Windforce for the win. But that would be an EVGA thing, so. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in and get a nice close-up. I think that's close enough. Wouldn't you agree? And we're going to go ahead and get started with our Ryzen 5 9600X. No, that is not the price that we paid for it. That's just an old Micro Center tag on it. Don't know why. But 9600X going in. We're going to start by putting the CPU in the socket, then we're going to remove the stock frame and install our own contact frame from Thermalright. Just to give this the correct right treatment. There's our 9600X going into the socket now. I always get so nervous when we're zoomed in on my hand putting a CPU in a socket. We want to see the atoms. Yeah, we can see pretty much that. Can't wait for my 14900KS to get here. Oh boy. I actually had no idea you got one. Did you just post that in the Discord recently? Because I haven't been on Discord like all day. I know you mentioned you got a screen or something. Yeah. $44 screen, I think it was. Alright, so next we're going to install our AM5 contact frame by Thermalright. But first we're going to remove that guy. I'm going to get this at least opened up so it's easy enough to drop it in there when we're ready. My T20 is what I'm using to remove this. And now that the socket is, well, ready, we'll go ahead and put our AM5 contact frame in. Hopefully the camera will focus. And the camera is being absolutely retarded. Didn't use that word, but... Oh, there we go. Every time my hand passes in front of the lens, it's like, derp. I'm messing with some Giant okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure you would have announced that on the Discord channel. Now, it's not a typical time that I usually stream, but I've got to get this build out for Grant. He's been waiting for it. I was so happy to see those fans finally show up so that we could do this build. There we go. Contact frame is installed. CPU is secured. Now we're going to move on to the SSD and the RAM, which is, like I said before, the MP44 by Team Group, 2 terabyte. And then we have the G.Skill Flare X 6000 megahertz DL36, which is 32 gigabytes total, 2 16 gig sticks. We're dropping the RAM into slots A2 and B2. Hey, what's up, Tech? Tech Works. Hey, Empower. Wouldn't have a tough board to spare, would you, brother? For my AM4 or AM5. Mine just took a dump today, and I'm sick to my stomach from it. What tough board are you looking for? I'm assuming like an Asus Gaming Tough. When you say tough board. And for AM4 or AM5, that's kind of strange. That would mean you have some sort of hybrid CPU between the two. Or you look at it just upgrade. Wick fams, welcome back to the Build Show. The name is wrong, the build number's wrong, but the info's right on that. I'll have to fix that. Tony, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show. Why are you using a CPU bracket instead of the one that comes with the motherboard? The main reason why I do this with AMD, this is a contact frame. An AM5 contact frame. The main reason why I do that with AMD is simply because of these edges. It doesn't really impact the performance too much with AMD, but for the $7 that this costs, it's nice to have because of these edges. These edges create havoc when you remove the cooler and find your thermal paste just smeared down in there. It makes it so it's a cleaner wipe when you remove thermal paste. Yes, it makes it probably a little bit more of a pain when you need to remove the CPU, but makes it cleaner. Thermal paste won't be down the edge of the CPU, getting stuck in the cracks and crevices. Asus Tough 450, 459 either or. I don't think they make a 459. I think you meant 550. And AM5 CPUs, why I asked. I'm not sure I understand the question then. Sorry. Definitely gets better with having a contact frame so that it's flat surf. Yeah, so with AMD, like I said, it doesn't make that big of a difference. It makes a bigger difference with Intel. But the idea of a contact frame is to keep the CPU flatter. And the flatter the surface is, or the more level the surface is, the better contact your cooler will have to the top of the CPU. And the better the contact you have to your cooler, the better cooling results you will have. So that is kind of the formula / idea, design, thoughts behind it, whatever you want to call it. But, hey, what's up, DV? Welcome to the Build Show, and thank you for subbing. 450 or higher, sorry, typos. Okay, so I don't have any tough gaming B450s lying around. But what I might have is a Gigabyte B550 Gaming X V2. It's a non-Wi-Fi board. It was actually one that went bad, and I sent back to Gigabyte, and I got the RMA replacement back, and it's just sitting over here, and I don't do a ton of AM4 builds anymore. So I don't know if it'll ever get used, but it is here. And I don't know what's going on with that. I'd actually have to check. But I do know that that board's here, not being used at the moment. I want to be careful about saying I'll give it to somebody, because it might already be lined up for a build that we're doing for somebody else. Meaning, I'm trying to explain this right. So there are a couple of kids that we help out in the community, and there is another kid from a single mom that reached out to me and was looking for us to do a really budget build for their kiddo, and I might be using that board in that build. And we're not going to charge them anything, actually. So that is the big surprise for them. Hopefully they're not watching. And hopefully they don't recognize who I'm talking about. Just wait for AMD to release a 5800X 3D XT. There you go. Yes, to XT's point, the contact frame is much more effective on Intel CPUs. I still like to use them on AMDs simply because it makes cleaning thermal paste a lot easier. I'm just wondering your opinion on CPU temps. I'm using a 5800X with an Arctic Pro 3 360mm AIO. I usually get around 82 to 87 C. Woo, that's kind of high for the Arctic Pro. I'd say check your pump and see if that's running. What I guess, yeah, that would be a question. What is your pump running at? If it's not running high, I'd be running that pump higher. And if your fans aren't running high, run those fans higher, because that's pretty high temp. That's a pretty high temp for that CPU. Oh, I'm an idiot. But the M.2 screw on this one is actually on the heat spreader. Oh, hey, what's up, Gooby Town? Thank you for the follow over there on Twitch. Gooby Town, howdy. I just got a new laptop and I'm pretty amped about it. Eventually, I want to build a PC, but I'm in grad school, so I need something mobile. Yeah, mobility when you need it is always good. Nothing wrong with that. Definitely, laptops definitely have their use cases. I have a laptop myself that I use when I need to be mobile, so as well as my desktop. It's always good. I mean, I don't know what laptop you did get, but if it was something that you can, game on a little bit, maybe that's where you could start. The CPU is on stock settings. Okay, so I'm not talking about the CPU, I'm talking about the pump. So on your Arctic 3 or Arctic Pro 3, I'm assuming the Arctic freezer, liquid freezer, Pro 3, you should have a pump header, or I guess it depends on which cable you use, because I think it gives you two options. One with a single PWM connection or two, and then another with a VRM connection header, CPU fan header, and your pump header. All three of those should be managed differently, and that's usually why I recommend using the cable with the 3 splitters to control that AIO, because you want to be able to control your pump at a different speed than your CPU fan, and you also want to be able to control your VRM fan differently. You don't really necessarily need your VRM fan spinning at, max RPM, and you don't want your CPU fan spinning at max RPM all the time. It'll wear it out. But the pump should be relatively close to 80% or higher for its usage. So you should be running that at 80%. So if you aren't using that, I would highly recommend changing that out so you can adjust that, and you would be adjusting that from your motherboard's BIOS or your motherboard's software. Lethal Wick, is Asus TUF Gaming B850M Plus a good motherboard to buy? I'd say most of the Asus TUF Gaming boards are pretty good. I haven't personally used an Asus TUF Gaming B850M Plus, but most of the Asus TUF Gaming boards have always been pretty good. Thank you for following Ruby Red, and welcome to the Build Show. It's mostly for 3D modeling. It's a Legion. Oh, nice. So it's a nice one. It's an I think you said i5 Pro, RTX 5070 Ti, 12 gig VRAM, Intel. Oh, it's an 5i. That's the model, the 5i Pro. Sorry, not familiar with the Legion laptop lineup, and I was just trying to. Sometimes people write typos. But Intel Ultra 9 275 HX. That's pretty good, pretty solid build. You're going to be able to game pretty much anything you want on that. Although I would say with that Ultra 9 and the 5070 Ti, the laptop's going to run hot. So definitely get some sort of cooling pad underneath that. That'll help it a lot. And if your temps still have issues, a lot of people will take the laptop apart and re-thermal paste with some better paste, and that'll also help with some of the temps on those bigger laptops. I had to do it on mine, and that was with an RTX 3070 with a, I think I have a Intel i7 11th generation on my laptop, so I had to do it on mine because it was just terribly hot out of the box. I mean, like, ridiculous. And repasting made a huge difference, so recommend it if your temps are crazy. Okay, so now that we've got our CPU, our contact frame, and our RAM installed, as well as our 2TB M.2 NVMe SSD with our heat spreader on top, we are now ready to move on to the case probably. I'm pretty sure this cooler uses the stock AM5 brackets that are here on the board. There is no hardware that we need to add to the board. We're going to zoom out, and we're going to get our case out. Gotcha. I won't be doing much gaming, mostly for rendering, but I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, HW Monitor would be the tool that I would recommend downloading to keep an eye on the temps. It's a good tool that'll show you pretty much everything all at once on one screen. I'm back. What's up, Tony? AIO pump is always at 2700, 2800 RPM. Currently, it's running 56C only with YouTube open. That's still a little toasty for a 5800X. What's up? Welcome back to the Build Show, Ant-Man. What's Max doing? He's down here taking his nap. It is past his bedtime, technically. So, anyway, let's break this case out. So this is a micro ATX dual chamber case, very similar to Lian Li 11 Dynamic, but it's small. It's micro. This one is by Morovo. Morovo is the brand name. It is the Morovo V3. Morovo V3. I have to say that very uniquely because I'm special. How tall is this case? Hold on. Had to go find the tape measure. This thing always gets misplaced. Is it just me? I don't know. Just over a foot, so about 1.5 feet. 1 foot. I'm sorry. 1.5 feet. 1.5 feet. Crazy. A foot and a half. No. 1 foot 1 inch is the height. It's 1 foot and 1/2 inch. More specifically, correctly speaking. Can't talk tonight, guys. It's just. What has happened? What am I doing? I keep mine the bed by the bed. Interesting. I'm not going to ask why you keep your tape measure by the bed. I'm not even going to go there. Shouldn't even brought attention to that. It should be in the mid 50s when you're just using YouTube. That much, I'm sure, unless you're live. I don't know. I feel like it's a little toasty. Can't we just pop this guy out? Or is this one of those poppables? Looks like there's 2 screws to remove that, and I don't really feel like dealing with that, so we're just going to live with it like so. We're going to do the build with the front glass. Looks like you can remove it. With a little effort. And I don't want to take the glass off, so... But if you guys are familiar with our website, this would be called our Quantum Prime. We are also going to remove these fans because we are replacing them with the Thermalright fans. So these are kind of, I don't know, cannon fodder fans in my opinion. They're pretty cheap. Don't want to run those. And they don't have the awesome looking RGB that we're looking for on this build. And that one just fell. So hopefully it didn't break the glass. I'm kidding. They're actually not bad for what they are. Usually you could feel in the bearings if they're cheap or not. These aren't too bad. So, A+ for that. Regardless, we are putting different fans in here anyway. Yeah, and if Grant, if you wanted these extra fans, just let me know and I'll throw them in the package. But if not, they're probably gonna end up in a donation bin. Yeah, Tony, if you're in the Discord channel, if you're not in the Discord channel, Tony, join the Discord channel and you can drop pictures in the Discord channel and let us take a look at some stuff for you and help troubleshoot that, but to me, it sounds like either a pump problem, a fan problem, or thermal paste problem, or maybe it's simple as not enough pressure on that CPU. I don't know how tight you have it. Alright, we're done gutting these fans off of this case. Nose again. And with this, we're probably gonna button it up nice and tight somehow like this, if we can, so it goes around and doesn't impede the airflow in any way. Alright, I need some studs. Need 2 studs here and here. Tony says the CPU is only drawing 30 watts. Yeah, that is really warm, in my opinion. Still. 50C. Kind of warm. I'm mostly concerned about the power draw and how it is so little. Should be drawing 105. Shouldn't be drawing that much all the time. Your power draw will probably fluctuate based on your usage. Not gonna read that out loud. Tech, I'll send you an email. Okay. You can send it to support@empowergamingpcs.com. Should be listed pretty much everywhere. Or you could go to the website and submit a contact option. That's another way you could get a hold of me. Alright, motherboard has gone in. Let's go ahead and get this thing secured. I do remember this case now. I have built in this case quite a few times. I just had a memory. Number 1, use the extension. Number 2, don't leave your extension around screws, because screws get inside your extension and then get stuck because it's magnetized. Extend a driver. There we are. Motherboard mounted. Cool. So now let's go ahead and get our front panel connectors installed. So we've got USB 3, USB 2, our HD audio. I don't know if that's reset or... I'm assuming it's reset and power. The only complaint I would have on this board is there aren't a ton of fan headers on here. 3. And it's lacking a pump header, so we're going to use System Fan probably 2 as our pump header. And all of our System Fans will have to go here. Could work. The Skibbity Rizzler, yo, is getting DDR5 7600 CL36 for a 7800X3D. A good idea? I found a Team Group T-Force Extreme 7600 MHz CL36 on sale for $79. It's a 32GB kit. So, CL36 for 7600 isn't bad. But your best results, meaning most stable, is going to be around 6000 megahertz CL30. Sometimes even faster timings, or lower. Venomous Toad. Alright, brother, my wife is an artist and has been doing animations on her PC. This last one, she created a streamer, a BRB animation with music, and the whole lot. It took 5 days to render. That's awesome. Not awesome that it took that long, but that's awesome. Is this where a workstation with tons of RAM come in, Threadripper, or is it still overkill? So I guess during that render, you would have wanted to pull up like the task manager and see what's pegged at 100%, what's bottlenecking it. It's probably the CPU, but I don't know what your specs are. So what are the specs that she's doing the animation on or render on? What's the specs of the PC? I cooled a 5800X with an ALF2 Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 363.4. They are spicy chips, but not that spicy. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a little hot. A little hot in here. If I'm being honest, it's a little warm in here. To be honest with you, the Skibbity Rizzler, I would rather get a 6000 CL28 over a 7600 CL36. So it's not always about the megahertz or the MTS behind the RAM, the speed. It's the timings that really make the biggest difference, especially with AMD. AMD likes tighter timings, so the lower your timings, the better performance you're probably going to get. In my opinion, that's what I would do. I wouldn't spend the money on 7600 CL36. I would go find 6000 CL28. And that's where you're actually going to see a difference. Like, a noticeable difference between the two kits. If you put them face to face, the 7600 CL36 is probably going to feel like you're running just a 6000 CL32 or something like that. Good evening, Robert. Welcome back to the Build Show. Bro, I'm playing on 5K and it's the cheapest $79. Yeah, I know, I get it. I'm just giving you my advice or my opinion. I personally wouldn't, even if it's cheap. It's cheap for a reason, right? So, I would shop around and see if I could get tighter timings on 6000 megahertz. But if it's like on Amazon, for example, they have good return policies, so buy it, try it, and see what it does. If you don't like it, send it back and buy something else. Okay, so planning the fans out, we're going to be doing two 120s here at the bottom, two on the side. Those are both going to be reverse blades. And then we have one going in the rear, and of course our cooler is going to be mounted up at the top. And it's going to be tricky getting all this in here, but that's the beauty of building in a micro ATX tower, I guess, or the fun. We're going to go ahead and start with our two bottoms and then our two sides. These again are the TLM12QRs by Thermalright. They're the Infinity matching fans that are matching the cooler fans. They have infinity mirrors on the side with a little bit of accent RGB through it. Really sleek looking fans, by the way. I'm a big fan of these fans. Haha! It's Amazon 15-day return. Yeah, give it a go. Why not? Nice. Forgot these ones are actually... I wish Nerd was here, because he'd be nerding out. We got the quick connects. I was super excited to try these too. Oops. Skibbity Rizzler, me talking about cheapest. Well, I have an $800 port and $3,000. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna comment on that. I'll just let that slide. Didn't realize she had that little RAM. It's probably the RAM. 16 gigs. Oh yeah, definitely the RAM. The 12700F should definitely handle that pretty good. But your RAM is definitely holding you back. I would start there. And I would go all the way to 64 gigs, to be honest, Venomous Toad. If you can get her up to 64, that would be great. Nice. I gotta peel the thing and the little sticker falls off. Literally happens on all of these types of things. Anyway. Thought I'd share how much fun that was. Have an Asus Crosshair, Crosshair X870 Hero, X870E Hero. Those are fancy boards, for sure. Actually going to plug these cables in now ahead of time. If it's at all possible. Don't mind me. This case has one of the smallest holes possible to cable manage. That is also why I'm dealing with this right now instead of later. These peel tabs don't do shit. Hey, what's up, Flash? Welcome back to the Build Show, Jack. Or J Jack 99. Welcome back to the Build Show. The Skibbity Rizzler. Having fun with my 7-inch screen on my motherboard. And I have $2,200 monitor. Nice. You got quite the setup there. The Skibbity Rizzler. Quite the setup. I swear these plastic peels are just out to get me. We got the bottom fans installed. I know the cable management isn't great yet, but we will work on that. Need that here in a minute anyway. I need something to rest it on it. Unfortunately, because of how this cable management is landing, some of this cable has to stay on the front side of the case. We're gonna tighten it up and kind of tuck it away down here where you won't be able to see it. So it will be difficult to notice it like that. Hard to notice when there's going to be a large graphics card there in the near future. You'll never see it, but it is there, nice and neat. Okay, next is 2 additional side fans that we're going to mount here. Go ahead and break those out and prep those. And then we'll mount the rear. And then we'll get the cooler out. Put that in. I'm about to build my PC. First time doing it myself. Nice, nice. What are you building, Jack? Let us know. Share it. Join our Discord channel as well. That way, if you have any questions, you can ask questions in the Discord. We're happy to help. Together as a community, of course. Where's Nerd and Joker at? Nerd and Joker, where are you guys from? I don't know. They're floating around here somewhere. I don't think they knew I was going to stream tonight, to be honest. I didn't really make it a huge announcement. Kind of just popped on, was like, we're just rolling the dice tonight because it's so late. Didn't want to make it a huge deal. I'm going to try to also do another build stream tomorrow night. We're trying to get another order done that we were kind of stuck waiting on some of the parts. Seemed to be like a common theme this week, waiting on parts. For the love. All right. Wait. What? A little tricky. These fans in this case. Huh. Didn't really think that one through, did I? Okay, I think I'm done with those. So I can put these back in again. Yeah, I don't think I posted it in the Discord channel, so that's something they rely on. For notification, then they didn't receive it. I didn't post it. Oof, that one's tight. Real tight. Definitely should have put this back on. There we go. Motherboard screws are back in. What's up, Sang? Welcome back to the build show, sir. How's your PC treating you? You'll bet it's going to take, or it's going to make my games load slower if I get another SSD and don't have it on the CPU M.2 slot. I wouldn't say slower. Building a Corsair frame 4000D with Asus TUF B8 or B850, yep. Plus Ryzen 7 7800X3D with a TUF 5070 Ti. I do like the combination of the Asus TUF Gaming motherboard and the Asus TUF Gaming graphics card. I like that because the aesthetics and the software. If there's RGB on both of those, which I believe there is, you'll be able to control both of them from the Asus TUF Gaming, or I'm sorry, not the Asus TUF, the Asus Armory Crate. Makes it easier. 32 gigs of RAM and a 2 terabyte M.2. Nice. Or 2 SSDs of 2 terabytes, sorry. Nice, that's a pretty good solid build. Was going to go 9800X3, but a little bit overkill for me. Yeah, the 70... What one did you say you had? I drew a blank on that. 7800X3, yeah, the 7800X3 is just fine. Nothing wrong with that. Would have... Yeah, you can upgrade later. Although, being honest, you probably won't need to upgrade that. Okay, so this is where we are at. We've got the two fans installed on the side and the bottom. These are reverse blades, so they're both intake. We've got our 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL36 installed. We've got our Ryzen 5 9600X installed with our contact frame by Thermalrate, our 2 terabyte M.2 SSD, all installed on our B650 gaming. Which one's this? Gaming plus Wi-Fi motherboard, 5 gigabyte. And next we're going to install our rear fan. And once we have that installed, we might even go ahead and install the power supply and install the AIO cooler almost last, because we want to be able to get our EPS cables and our 24-pin, everything done before we put the cooler in there, because this case gets really crowded once we put the cooler in there. So, ideal when you're building in a micro ATX case, pretty much get everything you can done that requires you to plug something in first, and then get, then start adding things like the cooler, the things that are going to start blocking things, so to speak. Very quiet also. My PC is doing great, running all of my favorite games very smooth, especially the Black Myth Wukong. It's been running very smoothly and PC stays very cool. That's awesome. Very awesome to hear. So let's get that rear fan installed. A regular TLM12Q without the R, and this allows us to install and use it as exhaust while having all of the fans facing the same direction, which is awesome for aesthetics. This build's going to be very sleek. Very sleek. Kind of excited to see what it looks like in the end here. I haven't done one with all... These are new fans that came out by Thermalrate. I've always wanted to do these types of fans in this build. Kind of transitioning to them. And they're new, so they just came out this year by Thermalrate. Super excited to try them out. Nerd gave me kind of a quick review of these fans when they were released. And overall, there was pretty good feedback on these. Super easy to use them so far, which I like, obviously. tight fit. I think it's safe to say that these fans are a little bit wider than your normal, typical 120s because the tight fit in this case. But will fit nonetheless. Of course, won't be the last time I wipe these. I smudge them when my hands are in there. Just any touch is gonna smudge. Everything is Asus and Corsair parts. Full black build. PS power supply is the Corsair RM 850X fully modular and 4 Corsair 120s, no RGB fans. Does that Corsair power supply have a 12-volt high power connector on it? That would be the 16-pin connector. Victor, welcome to the build show. You got any tips on getting a SFF case that can fit a 5090? I mean, my tips is don't do it. No, I would look at Fractal. There's a couple of people in here that do a ton of builds in small form factor. Trying to think. Jeff, are you still here? Can you jump over to the YouTube chat? We got somebody asking questions about small form factor, and I know you've done quite a few builds in smaller form factors. So his question over here on YouTube, in the YouTube chat, which is Victor, you got any tips on getting a small form factor case that could fit an RTX 5090? It's going to depend, of course, on which RTX 5090 you get, but I would honestly take a look at the Fractal cases. That's probably going to be your best bet. But I don't know if there's any other case that'll fit the length, and the size of those cards are massive. That's also an option by some giant idiot. Good point. You can also use a riser cable and mount the 5090 on the outside of the case. Thinking outside of the box, quite literally. Tony, I got a 4TB M.2, have a Steam sale. Addiction, $200. Might need another one soon. Oh boy. Yeah, the Steam will get you every time. Hey, what's up, nerds? Do you have any recommendations for a good CL28 RAM? No budget. I'm looking for at least 64 gigs. Ooh, that is actually a really good question. For 64 gigs CL28's hard to find. I typically like to stay in the G.Skill family, so I would start there. And I would also, nerds, take a look at your QVL list. Most motherboard manufacturers will allow you to check the supported RAM for your motherboard. And when I say most of them will have a sorting option with the timing. So you could select, for example, CL28 and see what comes up. And hopefully there is something that's there for you, because that's hard to find. Oh yeah, John. Yeah, that's also a good brand by Chef Johnsbo. Several SFF cases that can fit smaller 5090s. Yes, it's 16-pin. Awesome, Jack. That's good to hear, because your 5070 Ti is going to be looking for that connector, or require that connector. All right, guys, I will look at those up. Yeah, I would actually look at that. I know they're a more expensive brand, but they're a quality brand, so I do recommend them. I just don't do a ton of small form factor builds, so I would lean on somebody like Chef, who has done a ton of small form factor builds. He has way more experience than me in it. My limitation to small form factor has been some fractal cases and a couple of the smaller Leon Lee stuff, but it's really based on the request. Somebody saying, hey, I want to do a custom build, and then I do the build for them. Very rarely do we come across somebody that wants to do a small form factor build, so I don't get to do a ton of them. Asus AP201 should as well. That's a good option. I've never personally built in that one though, but I think I've seen, who was it? I've seen one of the popular channels do a build in that. Just posted a build I redid today on the Empower Discord. So, Victor, if you want to join the Discord channel and check out the build, you can do so by typing in !Discord in the chat and join the Discord channel and check out Chef's build. They are paying the ass. Understood. Thank you, some giant idiot. Smash. Alright, so we've got a rear fan installed. Now I think we're just going to drop the power supply in so we can get these EPS cables in, since it's a non-modular power supply. It is hot in here, like ridiculously hot. I'm gonna have to walk over to that thermostat in a second. Figure out. Was ist das? All of my parts are sitting, waiting for my GPU to get here. I feel like the GPU is always the last. In this particular build, it was the fans, but most of the time it's the GPU we're always waiting on. I don't know why. The Leon Lee A3X Micro ATX WDG. I don't think I've done one in that one either. Sounds like you have a few options you could take a look at based on the recommendations here. That's what I would do. And if you do a build, Victor, join the Discord and keep us up to date on the build. We want to see it. I always like having other people do builds and seeing them and getting ideas, you know? Do you guys think if I put a ITX tower or ITX build on the website, you think people would buy that? What's up, Tony? Welcome to the build show. Thanks for go ahead and becoming a member. Appreciate that. Even if you don't live close or live, I'm sorry, live. Even if you don't live close to a Micro Center, their website is a great source to check out specs and sizes of cases at GPUs. Plus, I do live next to a Micro Center, so if there's something you need from Micro Center and want me to ship it to you, I would charge you the cost of shipping, but I'm frequently there at Micro Center, so it doesn't cost me much time, per se. So I'd help you out and at least get it shipped to you. So just look at the Michigan Madison Heights Micro Center inventory, and if it's something that is there you want me to grab, I could do it. Obviously, at the cost of whatever we're buying, but I would ship it to you. It's funny how my current PC can handle right now. What do you mean by that, Jack? Some old and some new, going to be fun. It's a burden, by the way. Just took a PC apart from my stepfather's build. Nice. Actually, I don't know if that's nice. I joined. Just got to gather my thoughts to find something I like before I start building things for it. Yep, that's a good idea to have a plan going into the build. Definitely take a look at some of Chef's builds. He's done quite a few. He's got a ton of talent, so recommend looking at them. You just sit right there, sir. You just sit right there. Think about what you did. Forgot I wanted to get these plugged in before we did the power supply because, you know, getting tighter as the seconds tick. Scroll up. My last PC is like 10 years old. I got you. i5 760 with 660 Ti. Currently watching on. Dang. That is an old build. Can that even run Windows 10? I mean, the i5 760 can. You can't even get drivers for the 660 Ti anymore, can you? What driver version do you have? Out of curiosity. My man's still living in 2009. Some giant idiot. The 5080 is a great card, and the Asus Prime is the smallest 5080 with 3 fans. Yeah, that card is definitely a good size for small form factor, in my opinion. I do agree with that. Is it even smaller than the Founders, though? I thought the Founders were smaller. Unless you're talking 3 fan only. The Founders is technically just 2 fans. 10700 9060 XT 16 gigabyte going to be good enough for what he wants to do? Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like it's good enough. I think the only limiting factor there is the Intel platform. Being 10th generation. It's going to limit the upgrades later, but great option to start out with, though. Founders is hotter, though? Yeah. Yeah, the Founders is a 2 fan. Yeah, so I think that's what you meant, is the smallest 3 fan card. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. It makes sense when you say it that way. Which was the way you said it in the first place. I'm just special. The cable to stay there because this thing's getting shipped too. It's gonna suck. You guys didn't hear that, did you? My PC completely tweaking out. Oh man, this thing's coming together. Starting to look like a gaming PC or what? I'm gonna have to do something with that cable. It's driving me nuts. Nice. All right. Well, I think we're clear to put the cooler in. Pump, CPU, RGB. We're good. You are clear 2-4. You can handle Windows 10 fine. All right. Nice. I mean, you definitely got the value out of that system, Jack. Definitely. Make sure you also join the Discord channel and keep us up to date on your build. You should do like a before and after. That'd be pretty dope. When you walk up to the cashier at Micro Center, do they go, the usual? It's actually not the cashier, some giant idiot. It's the guys in the BYOD, or build your own. BYO, in the BYO. Build your own. Those guys are the guys that are like, so, the usual? And then we have, you know, a little bit of small talk and, you know. It's cute. Love the Micro ATX builds. It is. It's a nice, pretty little build. I like Micro ATX. I just don't like building them all the time. They take a little bit of energy out of me. Every build I do. Something... No, I'm joking, of course. I love building Micro ATX. It's the ITX builds that I struggle with. Man. These big chunky hands are not meant for ITX builds. Everything gets blurped out when I'm building ITX. No, the main reason why I don't do a ton... Oh, thank you, Tony, for the 5 gifted memberships. Holy crap. Much appreciated, sir. I'd be running for Scratch and Dent open box deals constantly. You know, guys, there are a crazy ton of open box deals right now. I just have so much crap here. I was tempted to just go buy a bunch of open box Lian Li fans and coolers. For example, there is a 360mm Lian Li Trinity Performance cooler right now at Micro Center. That's an open box. Guess the price. Somebody guess the price. And you'll guess wrong, because it's that low. Thank you for the member gift. Yeah, much appreciated. Gifting Daredy, Anarchist. Pajama Man. Icon No Cap Anthony. Whistling Peehole. Always an interesting name that when it comes up. All got gifted memberships from Tony, so I appreciate you, Tony. $160.95. Some giant idiot says $1 million. You're the furthest so far. It was actually $64 open box. Almost the same price as a Thermalright 360mm AIO. Why didn't I go get it? Don't know. Those are some good deals. Seriously, go open up Micro Center and look at the Madison Heights, Michigan open box parts right now. They have a crazy ton of Leon Lee fans. For example, the SL Infinity single fan, they have one of those for like $11 right now, open box. Even if it's messed up, you can send it back to Leon Lee and get a replacement. But those fans are typically like 30 bucks. Really banging deal. And they've got streamers, like the wireless streamers, for like 28 bucks, open box. I'm tempted to just drive down there tomorrow and pick it all up. I don't know if it's still there, but it was there this morning, and I was like, holy crap, banging deals. There was an RTX 5070 for like $489 at some point today, too. But I have resisted. Resisted the temptation. Stay. Got my 5070 Ti 16 gigabyte for $450. Damn, that's a pretty banging deal, Jeff. Give in to the dark side. I like keeping money, but I might have to.
Do it.
That's all I hear now in the back of my head. No lie, open box. I'm calling BS, no lie, open box. I believe it. If it's a open box Micro Center price, I have seen some insane stuff. Boner. Or Joker. Porn. I don't know why I always call you Boner. I just look at Joker and Born, and that's how it comes out. I just changed all my fans to Infinity fans. Only costs like 42 times while doing it. It's a little bit of a pain. It's not too bad. I want mine for less than 800. Yeah. It's okay, guys. Don't feel bad. I paid $2,200 for an RTX 3070 Ti. That was back when prices were really bad. And I'm still running it because I paid the same price that I would have had to pay for a 5090, so a boy can dream. Is it impossible to PC game in a gaming room that gets in the high 80s in the summer? No, it's not impossible. You just want to keep that airflow running high. And I would definitely probably run an AIO. Liquid. Get that liquid temperature down with the radiator. help cool that CPU. The only downside is your GPU is probably going to run pretty warm to keep those fans running. Somebody double check that on the Discord invite. I might have broken the link again. I'll do it. do. Yeah, the invite seems to be working correctly. Yeah, it works for me too. Which link are you clicking, Jack? I might have a couple of old Discord invite links floating around here somewhere that are all jacked up. So if you tell me which one you clicked, I can fix it later. Make sure I fix it. Because there was once where I accidentally killed the link that I had floating around everywhere, which really sucked. And then I had to go find everywhere that I've posted the Discord channel and fix it. And I think I got everything. Pretty sure I did anyway. But I could have missed something. So it's very possible you're clicking something somewhere with a Discord channel link that doesn't work. Top link worked for me. Yeah, they're both. So let me know which one you're clicking, Jack. Onra, I like to rule AliExpress fans in my builds. They like to run. You just gotta pay more attention to thermals for sure, yeah. Pay attention to those thermals, and obviously we want... Holy crap, that's a lot of crap here in my face. Come on. Come to daddy. I don't know how I wanna... I guess. I guess we'll try to stretch it like that. Do. Ah, crap, there is. I didn't think this one had brackets. Well, we screwed up. Not really, but... means we're doing brackets right now. I thought this one, mounted to these plastic things. Plastic brackets. There's a YouTube PC builder that lives 10 minutes from me, but he's kind of a jerk. Sorry to hear that. If you live 10 minutes from me, you get free thermal paste and free fans and whatever else is in the donation box. Cases, sometimes I'll have some older cases that I hand out for free. If you need an AMD cooler or an Intel stock cooler, we got a bazillion of those. $3.99 all day, come pick them up. Almost have to pay somebody to take away some of my crap that I got sitting around here. I'd be at Micro Center, yeah. Yeah, it's about a 30-minute drive from me, so you'd want to live 10 minutes south of me. You'd be kind of in the middle. But yeah, Micro Center's a dangerous store. You go to Micro Center and you're like, where'd all my money go? What happened? Does he drive a Cybertruck? I'm sorry, but I don't think I would ever buy a Cybertruck. I don't think I could do it. I don't know what's wrong with it. It ain't got no gas. I mean, he said he was a YouTube builder, so probably no. I mean, not all YouTube builders know everything. For example, me. I just build PCs on YouTube. And people enjoy watching. And then making fun of my mistakes, which I'm totally okay with. Fun. Makes it fun. Ain't got no gas in it. You shouldn't have done that. It was just a PC. What? What shouldn't I have done? Victor, also what case are you built? Hold on. Too many things came up. So we moved to a new house and my and my gaming area stays stuffy. I'm afraid it won't work. I think it'll work fine. Gotta kick those fans on and make it run hot, or make it run harder, the fans. I'm from San Diego. I would have to drive all the way to LA to find my nearest Micro Center. Damn. That is quite the drive for a Micro Center. Also, what case is that you're building in? It's a Moroval, which is a brand you can probably find on Amazon. It's the V3, and it is like a dual chamber micro ATX case, kind of like Lian Li dual chamber cases, but it's just not Lian Li, and it's a micro ATX version. Looks like 20 liters now. I actually don't know in liters what this is. I can give you the tape measure dimensions. So it is 1.5 inches tall by 1 foot, 1.25 inches long, and the width is just under 11 inches. Probably with the glass and the side panel, 11 inches. Okay, cooler's installed. Starting to get some weight to it here. I think it's time for that GPU, though. Just see how many liters of water it holds. I don't know. You guys want to pour some water in this and find out how many liters of water it holds? Did I miss anything? Vortex! What's up, man? Welcome back to the Build Show. Or welcome to the Build Show. First time chat. I don't know. We're almost done with the build. So you haven't missed, you know, the first boot. First post to the post. You haven't missed the post. We're just getting ready to drop our Gigabyte AMD Radeon RX 9060 XT 16 gigabyte graphics card. This is the gaming OC with the Wind Force. I swear, some of y'all never heard of air conditioning. I mean, we have AC in here, and I've got this thing cranked, and it's still hot in here. This is a very nice 3-fan card. I've been going more with the 3-fan cards, even with the micro ATX builds, just because of the fact that, you know, you get the extra heat sink on them for just a few extra dollars. Makes more sense to do that. Yes, it's more cost for me, but in the end, it looks so much better. And That's insane. This is actually long for me. I think my PR vortex is just over 21 or 22. Roy, do you remember what my PR was? Intel for the win. I think my PR was like I want to say it was like 26 minutes. 26 or 27 minutes. We did a build in 27 minutes live on stream. I've been chatting a lot and kind of just hanging out, so kind of relaxed. That's what she said? Yeah? Yeah, 3-fan. It looks better. Everything fitting like Tetris. Exactly. That's nuts. I mean, when you do as many builds as I've done, you get pretty good at it. So, if you're not doing it that quick, then you're, you know, something's not right when you've done as many as I have. If you look in the top corner here, there's a example number. That's actually not even all of them, because I do a ton of repairs, and some of those are case swaps, and those don't really count. No, there was a very simple build. For example, I didn't have to put any of the case fans in because the fans were already in the case. They came included. And it was an air cooler, so it wasn't an AIO that I had to deal with. It was a very simple build, so it wasn't anything crazy like we're doing here tonight. This one's a little bit more complicated because we're adding the fans and we're adding the cooler to the build. And everything's a little bit more compact in this one, so. Oh yeah, definitely. Waves back. That's what she said. What did Sir Miss Tuna say? Oh, jeez. Some giant idiot's just never gonna let that one go. I fudged it once. And he's still not letting that go. Not perfect. Posted in the Discord under show off those builds. Nice, nice, nice. So here is our awesome RX 9060 XT by Gigabyte, which is the Gigabyte Gaming OC. Those of you who didn't know, you can actually slide this logo on and off. Oh, what? Remove. Why do you have this here? Apparently this is supposed to rip it all off. I don't know. Instead it got stuck. Left some crappy looking chip behind. Nice. So I left a bunch of gunk on the card here when we pulled that stupid sticker off. So that's a complaint of mine. Gigabyte. That's stupid. It literally did nothing. I think it's meant to hold this in place, but you could slide, for example, this on and off the RGB strip. So this is your RGB strip, and if you move this over, Gigabyte logo gets lit up. If you move this over, the Gigabyte logo is not lit up, and you just have an plain RGB strip. That's the point of that stupid piece of tape, is to hold that on there and make sure it probably doesn't bounce off or slide around. But use masking tape or something, because your adhesive on that sticker stays on the card and it looks like ass. So that is something I have to wipe down. And these center fan peels are always a pain in the ass. Also, I'm talking about a donkey. I gave my GPU kiss before I installed it for good luck. Nice. I usually sniff my power supplies. It's a weird thing I do. Not everybody catches me do it. But I do it. Something about that new power supply smell that smells so good. All right. Get that gunk off. Goo gun. Get that goo off there. And there was actually a bubble on that sticker. That would work out too. Interesting. Okay, putting that third finally in its slot. I'm not doing a bracket for this card because this card doesn't have a crazy ton of weight. It's got the back plates. It's got the metal supported PCIe slot. I don't think this card needs it. If worse comes to worse and he thinks he needs one, I can send him a peg. A small short peg for the back. But I don't think it needs one. My screwdriver. Oh, this. Right. The new PSU smells all. It's basically the new car smell. Yeah, exactly. I usually taste my thermal. I knew this was going to go down a bad path. I usually taste my thermal paste. Okay, I have it set to medium overnight. Okay, we cooking something or set up? So hold on, that's a long sticker. It is a ridiculously long sticker for holding what it was holding. When I was building way back when, I think they are called ATI and AMD bought them. Yes, that is correct. It used to be called ATI. Would put the graphics card on low if you're just farming, so you're not wasting your GPU. Yeah. Hey, that spicy thermal paste flavor is good. If you do need to update the B850 Plus drives, how does someone do it? Are you talking about the BIOS? Update the B850 Plus drives. I think you're talking about the BIOS. Unless you're talking about the drivers. And I think, Jack, you said you had an Asus TUF, so it'd be from the Asus Armory Crate, which is now the, whatchamacallit. What is it called now, guys? The driver, the Asus driver downloader that's on the web now. Crap. There's a new name for it. Can't think of it, but it forces you to it. If you install the Asus Armory Crate, and you go to try to download drivers from the Asus Armory Crate, it'll force you to that downloader. Asus Driver Hub, thank you. I knew it was something stupid simple and I couldn't think of the name. Asus Driver Hub is what you would want to run. It'll literally check your system and say, hey, you need this driver, this driver, this driver, but be careful because it'll also list a bunch of crap that you don't need. On the software side. Anything driver, install it. Anything software, probably don't need it unless it's Asus Armory Crate. That's it. Install all drivers, and the only software I would install is Asus Armory Crate. And then for your chipset drivers, if you want the latest greatest, you could just go to the AMD website and just download your B850 chipset drivers directly from AMD. That'll probably get you the latest, greatest AMD driver. And then for your BIOS, you just go to the Asus website, support site, look up your motherboard. The easiest way to do that is just go on Google and type in your exact motherboard. It'll come up with the search results. Click on that. It'll take you to the website. Click on support. And from support, there should be a BIOS option under support for downloads, and download the latest one, extract it to your USB drive, and you can boot into your BIOS and then go to the Easy BIOS tool, whatever it's called, in ASUS, and then do the update there. Can't think of that name right now. I'm just Easy something, Easy BIOS, Easy something, updater tool, BIOS thing. Anyway, My 9060 comes Wednesday. Can't wait. Nice, Edquill, and welcome to the Build Show. Any update on the guy with the Zydex PC? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. I really like the build. What CPU is it? Joker, this is a AMD Ryzen 5 9600X. Under this cooler, we've got a Thermalright contact frame. We got the Thermalright Infinity 240 millimeter AIO. We got 32 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 CL36 G-Skill RAM, the 2 terabyte M.2 MP44 by Team Group. The fans in here are the Thermalright Infinities, which are the how was it? The TLM12Q for the rear, and the 2 Rs for the intake and the intake on the side and the bottom. And this is a RX 9060 XT. Yes, the GPU fits well. Sorry, let me move my hand so you can see it. But it fits very nicely in this case. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't lose power. But, I mean, the good news is Vortex, even if you lost power while you were doing that BIOS update, Vortex over on Twitch, guys, he said, I updated my B650 BIOS once and lost power 5 minutes after. Never again. The good news is most B650s today have the Q-Flash, which would require another PC and a USB drive. But if you had another computer that you could download from and plug it into your, or plug in your USB drive and extract the files to and rename the file, you can plug it in the back and push the Q-Flash button, and it'll reflash the BIOS even if it is bricked. So you would be able to recover from that Vortex. And that is why Q-Flash has become such a demanded, I guess it was demanded on like a majority of boards because you could do that. So it just became almost a standard now on all of the newer boards. There's some sort of Q-Flash on pretty much every new board that I've seen. I don't know if A620s have it, which is your more stripped down board, but most B650s I've seen have it. For example, this one should have it. Maybe not. Yeah, make me a liar. Yeah, so it has a BIOS USB here, so there's probably a button or a jumper that we have to jump in order for it to do it on the board. Yeah, it's on the board down there. So worst case scenario, you plug this in on this board, there's a button on the board that we push and it starts to Q-Flash. I think that's because it's a micro ATX board. A little bit stripped down. Funny thing you say that, Joker. I have a battery backup here. Meant to be on this bench, or all of the benches I have battery backups for. And I haven't installed them yet. So, I've been doing BIOS updates for a long time. Just rolling the dice. Every time I do a BIOS update, it's like the dice roll. How long can a PC be on for farming XP then? I don't know, I guess forever. Yeah, I'd say. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's a time limit. Yes, it does also clean the power for you. So, makes it much more clean for power delivery to your PC, which is always a benefit for your important electronics, such as your PC. So, it's a good point. Battery backups, or APCs, are usually a benefit to your system. All right, let's get a PCI Express, PCIe 8-pin connector over here to this graphics card. I think this one is going to be our winner. I haven't had a chicken dinner in a while, guys. Gonna need to play some PUBG and get some chicken dinners. Been so busy, I haven't played any games. I haven't played a single game since I got back. I take that back. I jumped on him once, but it was a terrible game. I don't want to remember it. But I think we go this way with this. And then we'll tie it up here. Nice and neat. Definitely getting some smudges on the inside glass, which kind of sucks, but get that cleaned up. Okay, cable management, and we're ready to fire this thing up afterwards. I don't know if I like the here. I lost one. There's not a whole ton of space in this build for any type of crazy cable management, so I am going to utilize some of this extra space here where it is. And I'm not going to do a ton of tying because, honestly, nothing's really going to move back here. It's tight. So, the important thing is keeping the cables out of the airflow. And that is what we did. Actually put this back panel on. I'm also probably going to be back in there. We'll see. I still have to package this thing up. I built a price tracker for GPUs and hopefully CPUs in the future. Do you think it will get traction with the PC building community? I'm also open to ideas if you have any that aren't community used. Should be on PC builder websites. So there's a couple of Discord channels that do the same thing. They track prices on things and they post alerts when there's inventory, for example. Oops, I keep bumping my mic. Sorry about that. I was probably sounding like I was yelling. But it posts when things are available and the prices they're at, etc. So those do exist already, and there's a lot of people in Discord channels that follow those. My Discord channel doesn't have anything like that, but I think you know, it's always good to have fresh eyes on it. Thank God I live 10 minutes away from Micro Center. Yeah, debating on a 4-hour trip would be worth it. It's worth it. I mean, money-wise it's not, but the experience alone, walking into a Micro Center, it's worth it. Trying to get some of this hardware cleaned up here. Get this thing fired up. Clean space. Okay. I don't typically recommend keeping these on the exhausts. They don't do anything except for restrict airflow. Alright, who's ready to fire this thing up? I don't know if Grant is here or not. But, Grant, if you're here, make yourself known. Turns out my AIO died. What do you mean, Tony? If you need us, and yeah, Legos would work. If you ever had a free time, I would love to show it to you or post it in your server to get thoughts and options, especially really want to make it one of the best. Yeah, definitely. If you wanted to post it in the Discord channel, you're welcome to. If you don't have the Discord channel, it's !Discord in the chat and you will get the link to the Discord channel. Feel free to join there. If you want to show it to me before you post it, just message me directly, which is Empower Gaming Computers in the channel. I don't know if Grant's actually here, guys. Thank you, Some Giant Idiot. Not sure why the link hasn't dropped in the Twitch chat. Usually spits out faster there. Are commands even working over there? Thank you, Some Giant Idiot. I'll have to look into why commands did not show up on that side. Did you by chance ban the Empower AI? Alright, guys. Honor says ready. Joker says, let's go. I haven't heard from Grant, so I don't know if he's actually here watching, but in honors of Grant, here's your build. 3, 2, 1. One of these days, I'm just gonna kill the stream when I push the button. Everybody's gonna be like, "What? What happened?" Yes. It's not like exploding with RGB, it's just clean. Sorry, bud. So you can get a good eye underneath the cooler. All the fans are the same. They've got the infinity mirrors all the way around. I don't know why the Gigabyte card is going. Bah! Pretty lights. But we did get a post, so that's the important thing, right? Looks pretty nice. Try to get some light in there with that little thing. I think it's a little beast. That is the Quantum Prime. You should cook some food on a CPU one day. I don't know if I have the heart to do that. Maybe like a really old processor, you know, fire it up, cook some bacon on it. Oh, yeah, she turned out really nice. I do like these fans a lot. I think RGB RAM in this build would be the right move to make it better. To give it a little bit more flair. It would go well with the lines. So thinking of RAM that would go good with it would be like a G.Skill RGB RAM, like a Trident Z5. But it's like the perfect amount, excuse me, the perfect amount of RGB throughout the build. A good balance. That's the thing that I struggle with RGB is finding a good balance between just way too much light and just enough subtle, like you look over at it and like, damn, that's clean. That's what I like. So this is clean RGB. I like it a lot. Me too. These are the TLM12QRs. R in the model number is for reversed, and if you don't want the reversed, it's without the R at the end. It matches, is what makes it look good. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it with no RGB on the RAM, actually. It matches perfectly like that. I think the RAM would be a nice touch, honestly. Another nice touch. I want so much RGB, my PC's glowing my entire home. You want an RGB tan is what you want. And thank you, Paul Livingston, for the stars. And also the like over there on the Facebook. Appreciate you. I always forget that we're still streaming to Facebook, because I don't get a ton of activity over on Facebook anymore. I used to, actually. That used to be my main platform, Facebook. And then I've kind of slowly transitioned over to Twitch and YouTube. And those are probably my primary platforms now. But I still stream to Facebook, since it's more like my legacy platform. And then I also stream to X, to Twitch as well. So we're streaming to Twitch. Although I never get any activity there. It would look good either way. I think so. Yes, I want so much RGB. I get transported to RGB world. I've actually never heard of it described that way. Never heard of the RGB described as a world that you get transferred to. Well, Grant, I hope you do, or if you are watching, I hope you like your build. And I hope when you do watch it, if you aren't watching right now, because I know it's a late stream, that you like what you see here, because this is your build. And we'll be getting this thing ready to ship out on Monday for you. So we'll get it out on Monday, and it will finally be on its way so that you can start enjoying it. The long-awaited build is finally built. Of course, there's more that we have to do to get it ready, which is the Windows, the BIOS. Sorry, I got my vape in my hand. The Windows, the BIOS, the drivers, and then, of course, updates and then battle testing just to make sure it's 100% before we package it up and send it out, which is when we'll certify it after it passes all of our testing that we do. And that's how we root out any lemon components in a build. Because believe me, or believe it or not, I've ran into several that have posted, installed Windows, and then we get to the test, and then all of a sudden the graphics card starts artifacting after like an hour, and it's like, okay, that's not cool. So if we didn't really do a long test on the card, those types of things we wouldn't pick up, and then the customer would receive it, you know, start using it for an hour or so, and then all of a sudden, you know, artifacting would happen. That would suck. So we don't want that type of experience for a customer. People usually order a PC because they want quality from us, so that's what we try to deliver all the time. And when I say we, it's pretty much just me. So Mrs. Empower, you know, she does a little bit of stuff, I guess, but you know, my PC looks like Christmas tree, but I love it. Yeah. No, mine's got a lot of RGB in it too, so I like RGB, but like there's something about just clean, sharp RGB. Like this stuff, it's just eye-catching. I like it. Everybody knows RGB adds frames. Yep. The more RGB you have, the more FPS. So true. Sarcastic. We'll see you, Roy. Have a good night, sir. Alright guys, that is the build. Grant, I hope you enjoy your build. Look forward to seeing it delivered for you. And let me know if you have any questions on it when you do see it. And that is it for us tonight, guys. It is currently 1:09 a.m. here. I'm in Eastern time over here in Michigan. So it got late pretty fast. And I am done for the night. I'm going to go to bed. Call it a night, and then we'll tackle the rest of this tomorrow and get this packaged up for them on Monday. So, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on the next build stream, which will probably be tomorrow night. I do have another build to do. It is a massive RTX 5090 build we're going to be doing, which is one of the Titans. We're going to be doing a Titan build tomorrow. No, build a PC with your eyes closed in 10 minutes. I honestly don't think I could do that, guys. I don't think I'd do eyes closed for 10 minutes. I might be able to do eyes closed for like a minute or two, but I don't think I could get through the whole PC. Good night. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you everybody for joining. We'll see you tomorrow night on the next build show. Again, my name is Ben Estrino over here at the Empower Gaming Computers, and I wish everybody here a good night. See you on the next one.